Hello everyone, Dimitri Mello here, the Soccer Excellence Mentor, and today we're going to be talking about the learning curve that every single one of your players will go through, the 4 stages of competence. Well, as usual, I always guide my discussions here on YouTube using my posts on Instagram and on Facebook, so I'm going to leave the post here to you, and I'm going to leave the link to my social medias right here so you can access them and have access to all my content. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about the 4 stages of competence, and I'm going to start reading the post so I can guide the discussion here. It's a very important discussion, and I'm going to give you some good examples of how to deal with this. The 4 stages of competence. This is very important, simply because this is the learning curve every single one of your players will go through. There's no running away from this. So a coach needs to be able to recognize in what stage of which ability or concept a certain player is, so the coach is really able to help him. Basically, when someone begins to do something for the first time, they are unaware of the correct technique, the individual tactics, the collective tactics, the psychology behind it, and the concepts that unite all of that, the philosophy. To each and every one of those 5 aspects, every single person will go through the process of, number 1, not knowing what they're doing, therefore not doing it right, unconscious incompetence. Knowing what's to be done, doing it wrong, but trying to do it right, conscious incompetence. Knowing and doing it right, conscious competence. And number 4, doing it right without having to think of it, unconscious competence. Now apply these 4 stages of competence to the 5 aspects pointed above. Understand that your players will go through those 5 stages in each of these 5 aspects, and they will do it in different times. Example, Johnny is a player in your team. Johnny is in stage 2 for the passing technique, but Johnny is in stage 4 for supporting, collective tactics plus concepts. Also, Mark is in stage 3 for passing, but only stage 1 for supporting. You're the coach. You are the one responsible for recognizing that and intervening in all of them, maintaining their motivation and bringing them always to the 4th stage of competence. Okay, Dimitri, this is tough. Oh yeah, this is tough, guys, because every single player is going to go through that process, and it's very important that you know how to recognize this, and I'm going to give you examples of why. So let's go to stage 1, which is unconscious incompetence. So let's say that you are starting a new season with a new team. You have never trained that team before, and it's in under 9. Let's say it's an under 9. Okay, so they're beginners. So you know that players will be in different stages for different aspects of the game. We've just discussed that. So now you need to be able to recognize. So let's say Johnny and Mark are in stage 1, just for the sake of the example, in whatever aspect we're going to use right now. So let's say Johnny is in stage 1, not knowing what they're doing, therefore not doing it right for support. Okay? So you're training a possession drill, and you're seeing that Johnny does not support, doesn't understand the concept of supporting, never shows help, never offers help to his teammates. He's never an option. Okay? So what are the responsibilities, Johnny's responsibilities behind being in stage 1 of a concept? That means unconscious incompetence, which means not knowing what they are doing, therefore not doing it right. How to intervene in Johnny? Well, first, you as a coach, you as the most experienced human being in control of that team, needs to know that he is unconsciously incompetent in that. So it's not that he's not doing it to piss you off. He's not doing it because he doesn't know. Okay? So the first thing you need to do is make him aware of what's happening. Introduce him to what's happening. So whenever a situation where Johnny doesn't support happens, stop the exercise and introduce the Socratic method. If you don't know the Socratic methods, please go back to my video where I explain this. I'm going to leave the link down below in the comment section. So use the Socratic method to introduce Johnny to what he needs to do and why. So create a situation, use the situation that happened already where Johnny showed you that he doesn't master the concept of supporting. Use that situation, stop the exercise, and have Johnny go through a process of questions where you can lead Johnny to the conclusion that support is needed and how to support. Okay? So this is stage one, and the responsibility of Johnny's responsibility behind being in stage one is just that now he needs to know, he needs to be aware of what's happening. It's the only responsibility he has. Right now, the only thing he can do by not knowing and not having a clue of what's happening is start to understand what's happening. So that's your responsibility as a coach, to know that and do not intervene in Johnny negatively. You have to intervene in Johnny positively so he can know what's happening now and he has an open mind to receive your instructions about what's happening. Okay? So you're trying to make Johnny conscious of what's happening so he can drive his performance towards a better level. Okay? So this is stage number 2, which is conscious incompetence. Knowing what's to be done, but doing it wrong, but trying to do it right. Okay? So you know what is to be done, you're doing it wrong, but you are consciously trying to do it right. So now the next step is Johnny knows support the next place. Johnny knows he has to support the play, okay? And he's trying. He's trying. You see that whenever Mark has the ball, Johnny moves to different spaces. It takes a little while because when Mark receives the ball, Johnny has to think of the concepts you've just introduced to him. So it's still fresh in his mind, so he still has to concentrate so that idea comes to his mind so he can execute the task. Okay, so you're gonna see Johnny moving at the wrong time, to the wrong spaces, whatever. Again, you have to intervene in Johnny positively because you know that Johnny is in stage 2. He's conscious of it, but he's not competent in doing it. So help him. First, praise him. Johnny, great. You know that this concept exists and you are trying to do it, but you're not doing right. No problem. That's the process, Johnny. Make Johnny feel safe by being a part of the regular process that everyone will go through. Make Johnny, okay, I'm doing it wrong, but I know that's the process. My coach is telling me, he's backing me. He's saying it's okay to do it wrong because I'm trying to do it right? So now you're going to try to use Johnny's efforts of trying to do it right to teach him how to do it right. Okay? So whenever Johnny does something wrong, but he does it, praise him for trying to do it, and then correct him into doing it right. So, for example, Mark received the ball and Johnny ran, but he supported. He changed his position, but he supported behind an opponent, so he wasn't a passing lane. Stop the exercise, praise Johnny, and say, Johnny, first, great man, you moved. You're trying to participate in the play and try to help Mark. Great stuff. What is happening here? Are you a passing lane? Can Mark really play with you right now? So Johnny's going to say, no, because, I think so. And then you ask him, okay, so Mark, try to pass to Johnny. And then the ball is going to go to the opponents. Then ball back to Mark, and you ask Johnny, okay, Johnny, so can Mark play with you? And maybe he's going to say, no, he can't. Okay, Johnny, what else can you do? Where else can you move to so you can help Mark? And that way you're going to guide Johnny to the correct spaces and then the correct timing of the play, etc., okay? Until you see he's moving towards stage 3, knowing and doing it right, conscious competence. So now you see that Johnny is doing it right, but he still takes time to start doing it because it's still a conscious process. So he has to think of it, okay? So he has to recognize the situation, go through a process of thinking in his mind where he says, oh, Mark has the ball. Oh, I need to support. And then he goes, okay? And then you praise him again because now he knows what he has to do and he's doing it right. Praise him, double time. Great, man, you know it and you did it right. Try to recognize the situation before it happens, but you're doing it great. because you're trying to move Johnny to the fourth stage, which is doing it right without having to think of it. Unconscious competence. So what you're trying to do is lead Johnny from not knowing and not doing to doing things correctly automatically, which is the last stage of competence, which is what all of us do. For example, nowadays, if you've driven a car for, let's say, 5 years, because it's absolute, you already know how to drive a car. You don't need to think of steering the wheel or the brake or whatever. You don't need to think of it. It's all automatic. That's where you want to drive your player's performance, to an automatic level of performance and competence, but you need to know where they are in each stage of this sequence, because each stage will demand, as I just showed you, a different kind of intervention, so you can keep them motivated and understanding what they're doing wrong and how to do it right and why they're doing it wrong or right. Okay? So guys, if you like this video, thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, make sure you share this with anyone you think would benefit from this content. Make sure you check my other videos. I have a series of 14 episodes called Soccer Coaching Express. It's totally free. It's here too. You can check on the comment section below. Make sure you follow me on Instagram or on Facebook, just so you have my entire content at your disposal, and let's all drive our performance towards excellence.